Who is the biggest name girl you've ever fucked?
Do I get sued for defamation?
No, just say.
Who's the most famous girl you ever fucked?
Ayesha.
I have no
Ayesha
idea.
Curry.
So Ayesha Curry has been going very viral these past couple of months, and if you know anything about her and her history, you can probably guess why. And don't worry, we will talk about that intro clip, but let's first get into Ayesha Curry's bad wife backstory. For those of you who don't know, back in August, Ayesha Curry went on a podcast called the Call Her Daddy podcast. I know, insane name for a podcast. But on that podcast, she would reveal to the world that she never wanted to be married with kids. And that in fact, she really envisioned her life as more of a career woman instead of a housewife.
Okay, 4 kids. Did you always knew you wanted a big family?
No. So, I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it. And I had my eyes set on my goals. And I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life. So it's like, it's one of those things like you don't know what you actually don't know what you want.
And well, let's just say that was a huge mistake for Jada, I mean Ayesha, as she already had a pretty sketchy public perception due to past transgression. Damn, that was a bar. And for many, this clip was just more of the same. It showed Ayesha Curry to be yet another famous, ungrateful woman who routinely humiliates and disrespects her much more famous and successful husband. And it makes it seem like since Ayesha Curry didn't get her dream career life that she always wanted, she takes out that frustration by not only humiliating her husband, but also seemingly being a bit jealous of his success. Sound familiar? And this just opened the floodgates to people criticizing Ayesha Curry left and right, and some of the criticism and outrage I understand. Steph Curry is not only a massively beloved athlete who's had so much success throughout his NBA career, but he also just seems like a genuinely nice guy, at least from the things that we see on camera. He's never been in any scandals. You know, as far as we know, he's never cheated. You know, there's never been some crazy story that popped out about Steph Curry doing some wild shit. He just seems like a nice guy who loves his family. And while he is always supporting his wife, there always seems to be these moments of where Ayesha is either humiliating him or disrespecting him or just seeming to be a bit jealous. For example, this clip where Mike Epps shows a bit of love to Steph Curry at one of his shows, and Ayesha is preoccupied doing something on her phone. You know, she's pretty busy on her phone, I guess. And I'm not gonna lie, that clip does look pretty bad, but you know, we could give her the benefit of the doubt and say, you know, maybe it was something super urgent she had to handle on her phone right then and there. You know, the camera kind of panned on him at the last second. She might not have been ready to put her phone down yet to look at the camera and all that. You know, it could just be a whole bunch of things we don't know. There's also this other clip of her pretending to take her wedding ring off when a shirtless man walks into the room. But again, while this does look bad with everything we know and everything she's done all these years, you could just pass this off as a joke, as that is clearly what the intent was, or you know, at least I hope. I mean, like if Steph Curry was caught doing the same thing, some attractive woman walked in the room and he went like, oh, I'm taking my ring off, like I don't think anybody is tripping about that. But I think the most foul shit she ever said, and the thing that made me start to question her, was back in 2019 when she first ever received backlash, when she said she feels a bit insecure about not receiving a lot of male attention.
The thing that really bothers me and like honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, yeah, like there are all these women like throwing themselves, but me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, it sounds weird, but like male attention. And so then like I begin to internalize it and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
You're not looking.
What?
You're not
Like,
looking. You're not even. But I'm gonna tell you something else too. When your radar's turned off, because I dealt with that for years too. Like, and I was young, like you.
Yeah,
like
that's
oh my
not
God.
fair.
I mean,
because I don't want it, but
Yeah.
it'd be nice to know that like someone's looking.
but
That
when
could
your
get
radar's
dangerous.
turned off, right?
You're
That could get
beautiful.
real
Don't
dangerous. Don't ever think for 1 minute that it ain't no some men out there looking at you like I wish.
Honestly.
And I'm gonna tell you who knows that more than anybody. Your husband.
And on
And hey, you know, I'm not a woman. I don't know what it's like to have all these people drooling over you all the time and then just suddenly not have that attention anymore. I don't know how that may affect your confidence or your self-image or whatever. However, I just feel that it is a bit strange for a woman who is married and at the time had 3 kids was out here looking for attention from other men. Like, on one hand, hand, I want to try to see where she's coming from, and even what the other women at the table are coming from. But it's just like, bro, let's really be honest here. If that was Steph Curry up on that table with a bunch of other dudes, and he was like, y'all, it's like, well, these girls don't be looking at me, man. Like, I just don't see anybody being like, hey, buddy, that's just because you're not looking. Trust me, there's so many women like, oh my gosh, I wish I had that. I just don't see people going, oh my gosh, man, it's just because you're not looking. They're out there. And, you know, it's not because you want the attention from those women. You just want to be able to know that you still look handsome. It's like, I just don't see anybody defending that. I would just see a lot of people being like, well, is your wife not enough for you? You need to have all these bitches. That's what the reaction would be to me if the roles were reversed. That's why I just like, to me, this shit is just crazy. And this clip in general is just interesting to me from so many different angles. I mean, for one, like, it's the red table, of course. Secondly, of course, Jada would be the one that can empathize with her the most on this. I mean, come on, man. You saw the title of this video. And as I said, it's strange to me that a married woman with children is worried about getting attention from other men. But she also said this in front of Steph's mother and sister. And neither one of them seemed to be very bothered by those comments. If anything, they were very supportive of her, which is, you know, it's nice and all. But I just couldn't imagine a woman I was married to sitting at a table with my mother and sister complaining about not getting enough male attention and them just being cool with that shit. I mean, they might try to see where she coming from, but I just don't see her not getting checked. It's just is that not crazy? Like, again, reverse the roles. Do you think a dude could sit at a table with his wife's father and brother and then be like, dude, man, like, I swear these hoes ain't looking for me? Like, what the fuck? I just don't see that as a possibility. And the dad being like, yeah, you know, I understand that. Like, what? Like, I just don't understand. I just feel like, personally, like, it just wouldn't go down like that if that was the woman in my family. She definitely would have got checked on that shit. But again, to me, this is the most foul shit she ever said in regards to this whole drama. And the whole Ayesha Curry timeline, this is probably the most damning thing. Because it just seems like even when her man checks off every box, it just seems to not be enough for her, and she still needs validation from other men. Which I just think there's more to that than she really let on anyway. I highly doubt Ayesha Curry gets zero male attention. I mean, sure, she's not Beyonce or something, but she's not like unattractive. She's not ugly, right? She's an attractive woman. I guarantee you there are plenty of dudes in her comment sections and DMs who are drooling over her, sending hard eyes, wishing they could be in Steph's position. Well, they wish they could be in Steph's position in multiple ways, but wishing that, you know, she was their woman and finding her very attractive. And I'm sure there are plenty of dudes who may see her in real life and find her very attractive when they see her in public. And this idea that she's not looking for the attention, but it would just be nice to know that it's there, is also kind of bullshit. I mean, if you weren't looking, you wouldn't know that you weren't getting any in the first place, which again, I doubt she gets zero. But to say that she's not looking for it when she clearly is, which is why she brought it up. Like, how would she, if you weren't looking for the attention, how would you know you're not getting any? What I really think it is that the type of men she is attracted to are the ones that she's not getting the attention from, and that seems to bother her. But again, that doesn't really make sense. Why would it bother you when you're already married with children? And it's not even just that you're just married, but like, look at the person you're married to, right? You ain't married to a scrub. But to a lot of people, it just seems like with everything she has, it's just still not enough for her. You know, so many women out there would love to have a man that is like a Steph Curry, a 6'3" multi-millionaire pro athlete, you know? And this is why so many people see her as ungrateful, because it seems like she has it all, but it still isn't enough. She still wants even more. Now, I will play devil's advocate a bit here and say this. I don't think overall what Ayesha Curry said on Call Her Daddy or at the Red Table was necessarily bad in itself. It's not necessarily bad that she never envisioned having the life that she has currently, and when she was younger, she may have wanted something different. It's not necessarily wrong that she wants a bunch of male attention. You know, people just want different shit in life. Something that seems like a great life to some may be the worst life ever to others. You know, you see that in like a job that works for one person, the other person's like, that's the worst thing ever. And maybe the life as the wife of an NBA legend, you know, with 4 children, isn't really the life Ayesha ever really wanted. I mean, she even said it herself. She never was like a, you know, I want to be in the wedding dress type. She never really romanticize that type of thing.
I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that.
Maybe the best life for her in her eyes was more career focused, and having the career as her priority, where things like marriage and children and family would come second. Everyone is entitled to whatever they want out of life. But the problem to me is she made so many decisions that went against the goals that she apparently has. And I get it, she was pretty young at the time she got married. You know, Steph was, I think he was already in the league by then, so, you know, it probably seemed like the right thing to do at the time. There was even a moment in that clip where she says this.
After we got married, we found out we were pregnant with our daughters so quickly. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore. It's so interesting. I spent my entire life like trying to work towards something, and then it kind of just disappeared, and I didn't think twice about it. But after my daughter turned 1, I remember there being a shift and being like, I have goals for myself. Like, this doesn't feel right. I love being a mom, but I love doing other things too. And I need to get my shit together and figure out what that looks like for myself now.
So after their first child turned 1, you know, she reflected and she thought to herself, you know, there's more out of life that she wants besides just being a mom. And she wanted to make sure she focused on those other things. But what I don't understand is after that, she seemed to just have 3 more children and hasn't really made any big progress towards whatever this goal is, or at least it doesn't seem like it, because if she did, she probably wouldn't be talking about it. She would just be doing it. You know, why not put a pause on having the kids and focus on the career first, and then you can come back to having kids later? I mean, she was still like in her early 20s when they had their first kid. But the biggest problem I really have with Ayesha, more than anything, is that she is making these statements publicly. And this isn't a problem exclusive to Ayesha. All of the women in Steph Curry's life seem to have a problem keeping personal matters private. Thanks, Sonya. Glad to know we almost never got the greatest shooter of all time. Don't understand why the public needed to know this, and I'm not trying to downplay her feelings. I don't know what she was going through at the time that may have led to her wanting to get, you know, that procedure. But it's like, that's your personal business. I don't even know, like, why is that something that the public even needs to know about? And the same goes for Ayesha. If she feels this way, saying this stuff publicly is just a bad look. Saying all these things publicly is just a bad look. It makes it seem like with all the support you get from your husband and this great life you have, you're not really reciprocating any of that energy. Now, I can't necessarily say that is the case because, I mean, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You know, Steph Curry could seem like a nice guy and he could be on some Ike shit or something. We just don't know. I can't tell you how their relationship is. I don't know them. But that's just how it looks to everybody else. And that's why Ayesha has been getting dragged on social media so much. And yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, there's all these different posts calling her ungrateful. There's all these niggas in her comment section, like, just going crazy. Like, they on her head top crazy right now. You don't deserve Curry for real. Steph's worst ring for real. Free Steph. You know, here's a picture of her looking all nice, looking all dressed up and stuff. Let's see how nice these comments are gonna be. Steph still posted you, I could never. Chef Curry deserves better. Please stop disrespecting your husband. Never leave or cheat on him in any way. Curry's only bad shot. The only shot Curry missed. Thy streets you belong in. Here's her doing some ballet or some shit. You don't love Curry like I do. Steph deserves better wife. You ain't grateful for your husband though, damn. I blame you for the bad game in OKC. We love your husband, you not so much, damn. If Curry don't start playing well soon, I'm putting the blame on you. Okay, I think y'all kind of get the point. You know, niggas is not fucking with her right now. It's crazy. Me personally, I ain't really the type to go to people's comment sections and be like, oh, you suck. But, you know, hey, that's how some of these other people get down. And while I find all the backlash, you know, a bit amusing, I just hope niggas ain't taking this shit too seriously and they leaving death threats and stuff. You know, people be on the internet and just take everything to the extreme. But yeah, Ayesha been embarrassing her husband and people been frying her for that. You know, that's why I said in the title should be the next Jada. I mean, you saw her right there. Her mentor was right there at the table defending her behavior. Because, you know, with Jada, it's the same problem. You know, letting the world know these very personal, private matters. You know, you cheated on your husband. Okay, cool. Why did you have to interview him about it in front of millions of people? That's very strange. And then, you know, just saying all this crazy shit willy-nilly. You writing books about it, trying to profit off of it. Doing everything you can to embarrass your husband. It's like you wake up every day, you're like, how much can I embarrass my husband today? It's crazy. And then just continuously doing that over and over and over again. And honestly, it's just a bit sad. You know, maybe something will change in the future. I hope it does, because I would hate to see Steph Curry become what Will Smith became, man. Like, just seeing all these these legends just become all cringe and uncool. Now, I mean, look what Jada has done to Will Smith, man. Look at what type of music he make, man. It's crazy. But now let's talk about the 6ix9ine thing, right? He's claiming to have smashed Ayesha Curry, but didn't really elaborate. He didn't really add any details to this claim. Now, honestly, I don't really know how to feel about this one. You know, I've seen a lot of people say that 6ix9ine, despite being a rat, he is actually a very open and honest person and just doesn't tell a lie. And low-key, I am starting to believe that. I've seen bro expose himself about stuff just to expose other people. So he really might not be a liar. And they especially saying he ain't the type to lie on his dick. But part of me is thinking like this is a very convenient time for him to say that he slept with Ayesha with all the stuff that's been going on the past couple months. So, you know, of course, all of a sudden he's like, hey guys, you know, I smashed Ayesha Curry. But then I also heard people say that Ayesha Curry isn't necessarily something that people would brag about hitting. And that is low-key true. Like I said, she not ugly. And I'm not saying she ugly. She is attractive, but she not like, I just want to see somebody going around trying to lie and say, yeah, I smashed Ayesha Curry. Like, it's not like, I don't know if, obviously she's Steph Curry's wife, but if she was just a regular woman, I just don't see you getting a lot of points for that. But honestly, is Ayesha Curry really willing to sacrifice her entire marriage and life to fuck this colorful gremlin with 6ix9ine tattooed all over his body? Like, I really just don't see her doing that. If she gonna cheat, it would probably be with somebody else, but I mean, I don't know her type, bro. So, you know, maybe 6ix9ine would fit the bill. That would be crazy if she really did cheat with 6ix9ine of all people. Like, that is actually insane. But, you know, I guess we'll just have to see. You know, to me, it'd be like, at least if she wants somebody different than Steph, it just wouldn't be somebody like 6ix9ine. Like, maybe like Drake or something. Oh, shit. Never mind. But yeah, you know, let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Turn on post notifications for this video. On our road to 2,000 subscribers. Like and sub so we can get there. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you everybody's been subscribing. I'm out though. Catch you guys next time. Boom.